Please join me in welcoming Ricardo Miller.
I believe that you do better when you're enjoying what you do. How many of y'all agree with that? As individuals who are called to the next generation, a part of our mission should be to help every child to become all that they were created to be. Education is becoming more difficult in working with young people today because young people are looking for application more than information. Everything's changing now, and we know that. We know that everything's changing. We have to now commit to being willing to change. When frustration enters this next school term, you got to remind yourself, if it's a skill, I can improve it. It's something you have to remind yourself every day when you're working with these kids. If it's a skill, I can improve it. And so I'm going to do better with these kids because here's the deal. I can learn, I can grow, I can become. Not because I've become qualified to make it here means that that's where it stops. With all that's happening in my life, guess what's going to be the key to making it this next term? I'm an educator. Come on, say it with me. I'm an educator. I love doing what I do. Come on, put your hands together if you believe that. Two or three people around you and say, you got this. Thank you. I have learned how to show up 100%. You've got to make up in your mind on a daily basis that you're going to figure out how to make life work best for you. Going 100% at it every day, deciding I'm going to get better in every way. I'm of the belief that there's a concept called effective living that everybody should be in pursuit of. And I want to help as many people capture the full essence of effective living. But on my journey for having structured my life in the way that it is, I'm discovering some truths. And one of the truths that I've discovered is someone is assigned to help you. And I love that basic truth. I love the fact that I am now able to capture the essence of doing life with others because life is beautiful with others. Okay? Billy K. Johnson said this maybe a couple of years ago, and she said the journey is better with friends. And we've adopted that here at Effective Living. I believe that principle with my whole heart. The journey is better with friends. Equally so, someone is assigned to help you, and that you should not do life alone. I really believe that. I believe that you should not do life alone. But I have to go a little bit further in helping people to realize just as someone is assigned to help you and you should not do life alone, you got to be careful about who you're doing life with. Not everybody is for you. And that's a message that when you say someone is assigned to help you and don't do life alone, some people say, well, then how do I tell the difference? This is where you have to now learn. See, life is a classroom. And if after you've been bitten a few times by people, you got to start studying people. You got to realize some people are toxic. I do believe that there are more good people in the world than there are toxic people. I do believe that there are more good people in the world than there are bad people. But some people have been unfortunate enough to find themselves with more toxic people in their life than they need. And so You got to learn how to identify who is toxic. You got to learn who is unhealthy. You got to learn who shows up in your life and all they are is subtractors. All they do is they take, and they take. You know, I've been believing for a community of people around me where we're all in pursuit of what I call win-win. Okay, win-win. Yeah, we're all winning, having decided to do life together. I am a strong believer in making sure that if you and I are connected, you're getting something from the relationship, I'm getting something from the relationship, and we're doing life together. I teach this to my coaching clients, and that is when you hear people say it's lonely at the top, I believe it's only lonely when you've chosen not to go up there with anybody. And I have chosen that I'm going to go to the next level with people around me. I love the people that's around me. As a matter of fact, I've been saying this a lot lately. I'm surrounded by the best people on the planet. But every now and again, you find somebody who has gotten close to you that's just not good for you. Somebody whose behavior is just unhealthy. And it's okay to bring people up. But here's the deal. Bringing people up have to be people who are wanting to go up. People whose behavior is who's speaking to the fact that they're making adjustments to leave the toxicity behind, the bad habits behind. They're wanting to learn from you. They're wanting to glean from you. They're wanting to discover the principles you've discovered in moving up the ladder. They're not suckers. They're not leeches. They're not simply there trying to see what they can get. And then next, you know, it's like I can take all that I can from you, and then they'll claim, watch this, you ain't do nothing for them. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. And after they've gotten all that they could, this is how you know people who are just sort of just suckers, users, leeches. Those people, they come for only what they can get. And when they can't get anything else, they move on to the next person. And here's one of their signature statements. An unhealthy person says something like this often. Nobody does anything for me. Nobody does anything. Beware of the person who says nobody does anything for me. Beware of the person who says, you know, no one has ever done anything for me. Beware. And somebody said, well, you know, that person they're speaking in ignorance. They're speaking stupidity. You could not have made it this far without somebody. Okay? And then here's the deal. Be careful of the people who ain't got nobody. Why? In a world with 8 billion people, you're claiming not to have anybody? You don't have no friends? You're not connected to anybody in a world with 8 billion people? What's going on there? I don't think the world is that bad where everybody you came in contact with was bad. No, that's not true. That's not true. Or be careful of people who says you're the only person who got my back. You're the only person who's for me. I'm the only person who's for you? In a world with 8 billion people, I'm the only person who's for you? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to say? Where are you trying to go? And, you know, I was talking to a dude a little while back, and we were friends. And I realized the relationship was one-sided. And I decided I wasn't going to do that because I realized he was a taker. He wasn't a giver. And that, here's the deal. You watch these toxic people, unhealthy people who have more cut-off records behind them. They're not attached to anybody. They're not attached to anybody. They have no or very little long-lasting relationships. In a world with 8 billion people, you don't have no long-lasting relationship. You have no friends. Even though a tree shreds and loses leaves on its growth projection, as it's growing, a tree loses leaves. I believe that. You lose friends, you lose family, you disconnect. And I believe in you have to lose some people to grow sometimes. But just at the very core, there are some people who will still remain. At the very core, there is still some essence of the old tree still in the new tree that has grown. And I believe, in the words of Pastor Danny Wegman, there are 3 types of people that come into your life. There are those who come for a reason, those who come for a season, and those who come for eternity. And let me tell you something. Those are all beneficial people in your journey to doing life at your best. Those who come for a reason, those who come for a season, and those who come for eternity. But every now and again, there's another group of people who slips in there. And these are the toxic people. These are the enemies of your vision. These are the people who have come to take what they can. And then if they can't take all that you have, they'll take all that they can. And then they'll go on and try to badmouth you. Also, watch those people who badmouth other people they once were connected with. Watch that, watch that, watch that. You were once connected with them, but now you badmouthing them. Think about that. I have to tell myself stuff like that. I don't like the whole term badmouthing anybody. But the truth is, some people are just not good for you. And you got to know who's good for you, but you don't have to broadcast that. You just have to know some people aren't good for me. It's just like some food isn't good for you, and you don't have to broadcast what food doesn't work well for you. The same thing, you don't have to broadcast the people who don't work well for you. But you must understand losing toxic people is a kind of win. That's one of the things that I found. Some people are just not good for you. And let me tell you something, when you decide to embrace that as a truth and you do the work to remove toxic people out of your life, people who don't add any value, because the people in your life should add value. You should be adding value in the people that's in your life, and they should be adding value in your life. I call it win-win. Pay close attention to those you've been doing life with so far. If you feel as though you've been used and abused repeatedly, and then you've been seeing these unhealthy behaviors show up in the life of those that are around you, you may need to start disassociating yourself from some people. There are a lot of incredible people in the world. There is no shortage of good people in the world. So you don't have to stay attached to a leech. You don't have to stay attached to a sucker. You don't have to stay attached to a user. You don't have to stay attached to somebody who's draining every bit of energy from you. Somebody who has a clear track record as a user. You don't have to. Just move on, okay? Label that thing, that's not good for me. Label that person, they're not good for me. And then go ahead and embrace what is good for you. Embrace that healthy community. Embrace that healthy tribe. Embrace that family unit that God is bringing towards you that is going to take your life to the next level. The rest of your life could be the best of your life when you decide to do the work in moving toxic people out of your life as well.